Hi there, James here. Hope you're having a good day and welcome to another one of my lessons. Now in this video I'm going to show you what I think is one of the very coolest blues rhythm guitar licks which can really add a lot of spice and colour to your blues rhythm guitar trick bag. So stick around for that. Now if you want the worksheet for today's lesson, you'll find a link underneath this video. You can click and grab the worksheet with tab and everything. And also remember to subscribe to my YouTube channel now because I'm publishing one of these videos every week, at least one a week. And I don't want you to miss any of my future lessons. So subscribe now, grab the worksheet if you want that, and we'll get on with the lesson. So now, the Stormy Monday lick. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to play it over a part of a 12-bar blues in G, because we're going to be playing a 12-bar blues in G for this particular lesson. And I'll show you what it sounds like, and then I'm going to show you the chord shapes that it comes from, so you can really use it, figure out where to move it to whatever key you're playing in, and all that kind of good stuff. Okay, so that gives you some idea of the kind of vibe we're getting with the Stormy Monday lick. Now, it's really important not just to learn this lick, but to learn it as a move inside a chord shape. The reason for this is that then when you move that chord shape anywhere on the guitar, you'll be able to find the Stormy Monday lick really easily. Now, both these licks are coming from two ninth chord shapes. Now, don't worry if you don't know what those are, because I'm going to explain it in just a moment. So let's look at our ninth chord shapes now, and what we use them for in the blues. Now the first ninth chord I'm going to show you is this G9 chord here. Now it's completely movable. The root note is on the E string. So what you'll probably know already is that whatever note that becomes when you move your chord around, that's the chord you're going to get. Now let's talk about what this ninth chord is. Here's the shape first of all. I'm playing the E string at the 3rd fret. I'm using my 2nd finger for that. I'm playing the 3rd fret on the D string with my 3rd finger. I'm playing the G string at the 2nd fret with my 1st finger, and I'm playing the B string at the 3rd fret with my little finger. This A string is kind of muted off underneath this 2nd finger and between my 3rd finger as well, because we don't want to hear that. So if we were strumming this chord, it's muted so we don't hear it. Otherwise we're going to get this, which we don't want. So keep those fingers slightly flat to kill off that A string. That is our first ninth chord shape with the root note on the E string. Now let's look at our next one. We're going to use a C9 chord shape, and you've probably seen this one before. For this one I'm going to play the A string at the 3rd fret. This is our root note. So this ninth chord has its root note on the A string. I'm going to play the D string at the 2nd fret with my 1st finger, and my 3rd finger is just going to flatten down across these top 3 strings. If I move my finger slightly, you can see what's going on there. I'm just flattening it down there. Got the 1st finger there on the D, my 2nd finger is on the A string at the 3rd fret. And that is my C9 chord. Again, it's completely movable. The root note is on the A string. So if we wanted to use it for a D9 chord, say, which we will be doing very soon, we would move it to the 5th fret, because that note becomes a D, and that then makes a D9 chord. So you've got two movable ninth chord shapes there. Now in a second we're going to see how the Stormy Monday lick comes from these chord shapes. So this is just the preparation, but it's a really important step in learning to use this powerful blues rhythm guitar device. But first of all, these ninth chords, well, what are they? Well, they're stand-in chords for the basic 7th chord. So imagine you were playing a 12-bar blues in the key of G. You might play G7, perhaps using these simple bar chord shapes. You might play C7, and later on you'd play a D7 chord. The thing is, the ninth chord can stand in for those. So instead of playing G7 in our blues, we can play our ninth chord. It has just a slightly cool and more sort of modern sound, really. So it's a substitute chord for the basic G7 chord. You don't need anyone's permission to use it. You can just chuck it in there whenever you want. Most of the time it's going to sound great. So the G9 is a substitute for G7. The C9 is a substitute for C7. So instead of playing C7 here or here, you could play C9. And for D7, which we'll see later on when we play our 12-bar blues in G, instead of playing this D7 chord here or this D7 chord here, you could play your D9 chord up there. Okay, so that's where the ninth chords come from, and it's important to understand that, otherwise you might not be sure when you can use the Stormy Monday lick, because you might think, well, what if I'm not using the ninth chords? Well, basically, you can use them pretty much any time and they'll sound good. So, ninth chords are substitutes for the basic seventh chords. Let's dive in now and have a look at our first Stormy Monday lick. And there's only 2 of them. And when you've got that, you can play this idea around an entire 12-bar blues, and it sounds really cool. So let's check out our first Stormy Monday lick now. So this first one is coming from our G9 chord here. Now there's a lot of different things you can do with this. The one I'm going to play is this. So let's check out what I'm doing there. The first thing I'm doing is I'm playing the bass twice. And I'm actually using a thumb on my left hand to play that note. Now if you prefer, you could use your second finger or something, but I'd use my thumb. It's just kind of there, feels easy for me to do that. So I'm hitting that bass note twice. And then I've got these notes here coming from my G9 chord. I've got the 3rd fret on the D, first finger on the G at the 2nd fret, and the 3rd finger on the B at the 3rd fret. And I'm going to strum those 2 with the pick, and I'm going to slide them up 2 frets and slide them back down. So that's our riff. That goes 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now the reason that works is that when we slide it up, we get other notes. These notes on the D, G and B string here become other notes which would work on a G9 chord. So what we're really doing is changing some of the notes for a split second, which will work with the chord anyway, and moving them back down. So as long as we slide it up 2 frets, it'll work anytime. So that's our first Stormy Monday lick, goes with this G9 chord shape we saw earlier. Again, it's movable, so you can move it up, and the lick will be movable. But that's our first one there. The other lick is coming from the other 9th chord I showed you a second ago. Sounds like this. So let's have a close-up look at how we play that one now. So I've got my 9th chord here with the root on the A string. Remember, we don't want to play the E string in this chord. We want to miss that off. And I'm basically going to hold down the 9th chord shape there. I'm going to hit the A string twice with the pick as my bass note. And then I'm going to strum the top 3 strings of the chord, which I'm barring my 3rd finger. I'm going to slide them up and back down. Now you don't want to slide the whole chord. Sounds a bit weird. Sounds a little bit strange, that. So just use the top 3 strings, alright? But I leave the whole chord pretty much in place. I just relax these fingers so that they don't snag on the strings and hold the lick up. So that's our C9 one. 3, 4. That's the second Stormy Monday riff. Now, if we're playing in the key of G like we are in this lesson, we're also going to be using a D7 chord. So all we can do for that one is move our D9 chord up 2 frets. Here's our root note here. That becomes D now, so that's why we get a D9 chord. And then we can do the riff on D. So that's the second riff you need to know. Now a 12-bar blues in G only uses the G7, C7 and D7 chords most of the time. So what we can do is, instead of playing standard chord shapes like G7, C7, D7 when we play a 12-bar blues in G, we can use the Stormy Monday riffs instead of that, and it just sounds a lot cooler. So what I'm going to do now is just play round a 12-bar blues in G, so you can hear what happens when I do that on the chords, and I'll put the tab up on the screen so you can check out what I'm playing. So 12-bar blues in G, using the Stormy Monday riffs on G7, C7 and D7, but they're all substituted as 9 chords here, so we get the 9th chords and the Stormy Monday riff. Let's have a listen to it. So that's what the Stormy Monday riff sounds like, and I hope you agree it's a pretty cool sound to use in your blues guitar style. Now, the important thing is that you can use this in other keys, because you're not always going to be playing in the key of G, are you? So how are you going to do that? Well, the thing is just to move your chord shapes around. So imagine we were playing in the key of E. Now the chords in an E blues are E7, A7 and B7. We can substitute them for E9, A9 and B9 and use our Stormy Monday riff. So instead of playing E7, say here, we could use the E9 chord with the Stormy Monday riff. Then it goes to A7, so we can go to A9. You can see these riffs work as well in the key of E. And back to A again. So they're completely movable, is the point. And back to E. When we go to B, back to A, and back to E, and end on B. And this highlights an important point, is that you need to learn this riff, like I said earlier, inside the chord shapes. Then whenever you've got the chord shape there, you can find the riff really easily. This is really important. So what I would suggest you do is play along with me in this video. Get used to playing the riffs along in the 12-bar blues in G. Maybe even play along with that one, me in E there. Or at the very least, work out the chords in some different 12-bar blues that you're regularly playing, and start using this as a stand-in for standard chord shapes or these shuffle type licks, and see how you can make them work in your playing, because it's a really powerful little device to use in your playing. So I hope you found this lesson useful. Remember, you can grab the worksheet by finding the link underneath this video, and you can get the tab and chord boxes and everything for this video. And also subscribe to my channel, because I'm publishing at least one Lick of the Week video every week now. And there's some cool stuff coming, so I don't want you to miss that. So grab the worksheet if you want it, subscribe to my channel. Other than that, thanks a lot for watching. Take this idea, experiment with it. You can find different rhythmic variations, different ways to change it around. It's a really cool thing. I'm sure you'll never regret having this in your blues trick bag. So anyway, thanks a lot for watching. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I look forward to seeing you again in another one of my lessons very soon. So take care, and bye for now.